of being a truck driver. Now, I know that's a very broad topic, but we have a lot of really great things to cover today. I do want to mention right off the bat, we are live. So go ahead and put your comments, questions. We'll certainly try to take as many of them as possible. So Rhonda, to kind of kick us off, let's pretend we have a driver that isn't even really a driver yet, looking to potentially get a change in careers, thinking about getting that Class A. What's that first baby step in kind of starting that process?
Sure, I get that all the time. I do a lot of outbound type of work where I'm dealing with people who they've just decided they want to come to Schneider, or they want to be a driver, and they're like, where do we start? What do we do? So I do get a lot of that. And the really great thing about it is that we do have a lot of resources that can help these drivers. But really the first step is going to be, of course, getting your Class A. So to go about doing that, most people would go to a truck driving school. Schneider offers tuition reimbursement everywhere, which is a way to help with that. But there are different ways to obtain that. You can do like a student loan or a private loan, pay out of pocket. And in a lot of areas right now, the state and local governments through like the Department of Workforce Development, they're doing grants and things, because truck drivers is an in-need job across the country. So a lot of different ways to pay for that schooling, because that's one of the questions I get a lot is, why I can't afford to pay for schooling. So what do I do? Mm-hmm. And I think another good thing, is that we have lots of paths. There's lots of options out there. Schneider in particular, like I said before, we have the tuition reimbursement, right? And then we have, in some areas, we have contract training options, and of course our apprenticeship program, depending on the needs of the area. So it is.
Oh, it looks like
it's always.
Oh, you kind of froze at the end there. I don't know if you froze for everybody else. So just, can you reiterate that last sentence that you were saying at the end?
Oh, yes. What I was saying is that, there's all those paths, and always Schneider, with the options that we have, I encourage everybody to go to our Schneider jobs page. Really great information there under the inexperienced driver. There's a whole bunch of sections about how to become a driver. First steps, finding a school. We have a school finder that can find schools in your area by state. Not an all-inclusive list either. So here to answer those questions for you, calling into Schneider Jobs.
As far as questions, we have a couple rolling in, so just going to go to address some of those right now. So we first of all have Ernesto saying hi. Well, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate all the people that do view our videos. Another question coming in, does Schneider have a training school? So we don't have a brick and mortar school. We used to here way back in the day. But like Rhonda had talked about, we do have our apprenticeship program, which helps you to go from, not having a Class A to finishing that 5-week program with that Class A license, and also contract training as well. So like Rhonda had already said, definitely go to schneiderjobs.com. Put in your zip code. A lot of it is based off where you live and availability, state by state, city by city. But we definitely do have ways to help you out. Also wanted to kind of go back on tuition reimbursement for a moment. If you are a team driver, right now we are in need of teams. So an extra, positive thing, if you will, is that we actually are giving $400 a month in tuition reimbursement if you are on a team account. So a really great way to get school paid back very quickly, if you're open to doing a team position. So just wanted to call that out as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have another question. Does Schneider have a Reefer division? So we don't have a division just for Reefer, but some of our dedicated accounts do offer or do have, Reefer trailers that we haul. So if you do go into an account like that, we definitely have training to make sure you know everything you need to know about the Reefer. So we're never just going to send you on your way, especially for our new drivers, and say, good luck, have fun, figure it out. That's certainly not what we're about at all.
Yeah. And I think that, somebody did asked about, whether or not we hire straight out of CD school. Obviously, what we've just been talking about shows that we do. So, based on zip code and area, we have, all different ranges of experience levels. So definitely looking to bring those new drivers in as well as the experienced drivers.
Definitely. And to kind of go into our next topic too, okay, you have that Class A license, huge accomplishment. Congratulations. Now you're, looking to come aboard here at Schneider. Rhonda, if you want to kind of go into more detail, how they pick a position, like what that interview looks like a little bit, kind of go, into that next step.
Sure, most definitely. So there's a couple of different ways. If you're already in a truck driving school and you want to, get the hiring process started so you're ready for a job after, simply go to schneiderjobs.com. Like April had said, under the company drivers or the truck drivers tab, you would put in your zip code and it's going to bring up all of the jobs that are open in your area. Now, the nice thing is that if you are kind of computer savvy and you like to drill down on the, which would be your left-hand side of the screen when you're looking at it, there's filters. And at the bottom of those, there's actually, you can filter for jobs that are open to somebody with 3 months or less of driving experience. That's going to bring all of those options up so you don't have to, well, will this one take me or will this one not? That's a great tool that we have out there for them. But once they get the application in, then they're going to, if they fill it out that way, they just go through the traditional recruiting process. Well, they'll be either doing it on the spot. Sometimes we have recruiters available to talk to them immediately upon reaching them with a completed application. Or if they're not really sure what they're doing or they're a few weeks out yet from getting their license, we kind of put them in truck driving school status, so to speak. And then they will work with one recruiter from that initial pre-qualification until they get the road test scheduled date. And then we do kind of a matching process, so to speak, where they'll have a time set up with their recruiter where they can talk about the positions that they're interested in that are available for them and really ask questions to determine what the best fit for them is. And, that's that next step. And once they graduate and get their license, then we would get them scheduled for an orientation and get that next step of becoming a truck driver there, in that first year.
Okay.
I know you have a lot of,
well, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, I know that you have some things that you had thought about bringing up about the orientation process itself.
Yeah, definitely. So, orientation could be a video on its own. We have done videos about it before because there's just so much to cover. But, kind of high level today, especially geared towards our drivers that have never attended an orientation before, or are very new to the industry. Schneider prides ourselves on our training. You can ask a lot of drivers within the industry as a whole, and they're going to say Schneider is going to know how to train you. And that's me bragging a little bit about our company right now, but we have phenomenal orientation. So it is longer than maybe some other companies are, but we're really trying to cover everything to make sure that you are safe and that you are prepared out on the roadway. For van truckload orientation, for example, that orientation is going to be 3 weeks in length. The first and second week, you're in the classroom, you're out in the yard. That third and final week, you're getting that one-on-one time with a training engineer. And that one-on-one time is just, there's no value to put on it because it's just so important. Because sometimes with truck driving school, it might only be a 2 or 3 week, class. That's not a lot of time behind the wheel to feel confident and safe on your own, before you're driving across country potentially. So that week is really, really important. We do get asked often, is it paid? Yes, we do pay for your orientation. Where is it located? It really depends on the position that you're going to. So for example, if you're going to a tanker position, it is going to be in Coriopolis or in Houston. So, sometimes that might be really far away from a driver. So we help with transportation. We will book you a rental or an airplane. We will cover your hotel stay. With COVID right now, a lot of people ask, am I going to be with a roommate? No, it is single room occupancy. That is your hotel room and yours only. And we also help with meals as well. So we try to make that orientation as financially painless as possible. We understand you probably just paid a whole bunch of money for truck driving school. So we want to get you trained successfully, get you in the truck, and then get you started here at Schneider.
Sure. And you really saw a couple more questions coming through, kind of bouncing off what you were just talking about.
Okay.
They're asking, if we require to complete a 160-hour school, or, do we have to go to truck driving school, or can we just get your CDL?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you can get your CDL on your own, some people have the ability to do that, and that's fine. We aren't going to say, oh no, you can't do that. So
Right.
we're talking about a way to get into the process if you're looking to go to a school, but definitely is not required. It's recommended. There's some really good information you learn, but if you're from a truck driving family, you might have the opportunity to learn on, by getting your permit and going out with a family member. I've had drivers do that, so they learned on their own, or they grew up in the truck driving, even, in some farm communities where they've driven trucks their entire life. So, no, not to answer your question, RN, do not have to go to a truck driving school.
And then I see another question here from Daryl. I will be starting orientation next month for local intermodal in Chicago, straight out of CDL school, and wanted to know, as a rookie, how many loads could I expect per week after training? Great question. Welcome aboard, first of all.
Exactly.
As an answer, there's really no hard and fast answer for you, because I don't know what exact account you're on in intermodal. If it's a home daily, it's going to look completely different than a regional is. So definitely ask your recruiter. They can give you that, specific information. They'll have that right at their fingertips, but I just don't have the exact answer. Rhonda, do you want to get off of that?
I did definitely want to kind of roll off of that a little bit. Like she said, crosstown versus, all of that. But one of the things, Daryl, specifically with you being new, take a breath. It's going to take you a little while to get used to it. This is why we wanted to talk about the first year as a truck driver. And I know we got into a lot of that orientation and stuff, because that's important. It is a big part of becoming a truck driver. But really, when you talk about that first year as a driver, as a truck driver, one of the things that I tell my driver recruits all the time is, take it slow. Schneider, in a lot of our accounts, depending on where you are and the type of account, Chicago Intermodal has a lot of those, where right now we're offering some sort of guaranteed pay for the first 3 months. And really, with Schneider's, number one core value being safety first, we want you to take your time. We don't want you counting loads and how many miles can I get, in any of our positions when you're a new driver. Learn the position, get comfortable. Those are going to be the, get to know your truck, get to know your team and your routes. Like I said, Daryl, I think you are coming into an account where we're probably offering that, but please talk with your recruiter to make sure. But again, the first few months are going to be the slowest, and your first year overall is going to be your lowest income earning year, only because you're new. When you start a job, you always have to learn the ropes. No different from April when you started working for Schneider. I mean, you were watching everybody, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true.
So, that's kind of a great thing. So, like I said, some of our accounts are offering that, that guaranteed pay, but with any account, take your time those first few months, learn the ropes, safety first, and then you're going to see that income coming and just continue to go up.
Going off of that a little bit more too, when I was interviewing, this is like last year, for a video like this, and we were talking to one of our training engineers in Green Bay, where we're located. And, he was previously a driver himself. And this advice has always kind of stuck with me. And I try to relay it, to my drivers as much as possible. And he said, everyone's looking to make the most money possible, which, hey, I understand. I'm in that boat as well. Everyone wants to have that big paycheck. And as new drivers, the question that he would get asked all the time during orientation is, how do I make, the most money? And kind of going off what Rhonda was saying is it takes time. You can't be frustrated right off the bat. Oh my gosh, I should be making this. That's just not how it works for any position. And the biggest thing, I guess the advice that he gave on how you do make that money is your trip planning becomes so, so important. If you think you're going to be able to drive for an hour or two and go stop and get a coffee and then drive for another hour and go and use the restroom, you're never going to rack up those miles. So, we want you to be safe. We don't want you cruising at 100 miles an hour down the road. But that being said, that trip planning is your responsibility. You are the captain of your ship, if you will. And if you really take that time and plan your day, now I know things are going to sometimes go wrong with weather or other traffic, but that's really how you're going to make your big money. And, for new drivers, they don't know always how to trip plan, or they might think they do, and hey, this isn't working. And that's where Schneider comes back in to help. Talk to your managers about how to better trip plan. Talk to experienced drivers and get those details, because that's what's going to really have you succeed within your career.
Right, exactly. I was just looking at a few of the cute comments coming in, but yeah, like you said too, and one of the questions that I just saw put up here was, about how do drivers get paid, or do they get pay increases? And you and I had discussed this a little bit when we were talking about this video that we wanted to do. So that there are incremental pay increases over their first year, and then automatic annual increases, cost of living increases. April, I know we've seen some great increases in pay across some of the divisions yearly, and I think even quarterly. Sometimes they are reevaluating what our drivers are making based on the industry standards and things like that. So we'll see that come through, quite often, in addition to increments for that first year and the annual incentives.
And another thing too, kind of going off of the pay topic, within that first year within the company, there also is the sign-on bonus. Now, it's not necessarily offered for all positions, but definitely look at that. We do have two different levels, one being for like our experienced drivers and one for our inexperienced. It is paid out over the course of the first year with the company, but a really great way within that first year to get additional pay as well, is because some of those sign-on bonuses are very nice in size. So definitely, something else to be aware of and to keep in mind as well within the income coming in within that first year.
Yeah, and referral bonuses.
That as well. Yeah, if you want to talk about that a little bit, because I know that sometimes doesn't get highlighted a whole bunch.
It doesn't. I get drivers that get referred and they still don't, when I say to them, well, do you know about our referral process? And they're like, no. You are out on the road. You're our ambassadors out there. Once you get out on the road, you talk to drivers who maybe aren't happy where they are, but you are. So what do? You just say, hey, I know, go to Schneider. They've got great, and you can talk about your division or whatever it is you like most about the company. And you can earn $1,000 for an inexperienced driver, $2,000 for an experienced driver. And in the instance that right now, like April said earlier, the teams thing, we are looking for teams. You can earn, there's a way for you to earn up to $10,000 if you bring us an experienced team that's already formed. But, those are things you can discuss with your recruiter. Just don't forget about them. It's unlimited. We're getting a lot of questions in here. So I don't know if April, do you want to talk about a few more of the questions? Do you have?
Yeah, we definitely have some more rolling in, and we are for anyone that just joined. So keep the questions coming in. Let's see here. So I know you got the raise one, so we're good to go on that. A question from Roman: are there local tanker jobs in Louisiana? Great question. Biggest recommendation, go to schneiderjobs.com, put in your zip code for your home address to see what's in your particular area. It is very, case by case basis where you're located. And, there might be a local position that might not just be open at this particular time. And in 2 weeks, a month from now, it could open back, open up. So always look at schneiderjobs.com. It's going to have the latest, most up-to-date, accurate positions of what's available in your area. Let's see what else here. So another question, during the on-the-road training part, is the truck moving 24 hours a day, or does the student only drive for 11 hours at a time? Great question. So when you're out on the road with the training engineer, and Rhonda, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the trainee does 80% of the driving, and the other 20% is coming in from the TE or the training engineer. So
Right.
running 24/7 like a team's truck would be. So you guys are stopping for the night.
Yeah, one of the things I think is the greatest part of our training for new drivers is that there is no team configuration. They're not throwing you in a truck and making, there's not someone sleeping in the sleeper that's really not teaching you anything, right? They do the same work sleep schedule. They work the same shift. The expectation, like you said, April, is that it's 80% of the driving is done by the new driver who is learning. And, the expectation is that training engineer who is also certified is going to be sitting in the seat, next to you and, co-piloting there to help you through those first real life on the road, pickups, deliveries, traffic issues, things that that you didn't really get to learn while you were in truck driving school.
Mm. And another question we just got in as well here. It says, hello, I will be jet set team driver starting next week. This is Brittany. So congratulations. Welcome aboard. How does tuition reimbursement work for team drivers? So what you have to do is you would send an email to your recruiter with a invoice showing how much you paid for truck driving school, and then also a receipt showing that it has been paid. Or if it's a loan, you have to send like your loan agreement in. And then we send that in to our team 30 days after your date of hire. We start to reimburse you back. For team, it is going to be $400 a month. And if it is paid out of pocket, it's coming directly back to you on your paycheck. If it is a loan, we actually can set it up for some loan agencies that it will go directly back to that loan agency. So you don't even have to be the middleman or woman, within that payment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Rhonda, do you want to take the pet policy one? I see that's another question that came up underneath.
Sure. Yeah, I was just looking at that one. Arian asked us about what Schneider's pet policy is for solo drivers. I'm assuming that maybe you did read something, Arian, about our recent release. We are currently, the pet policy is a no pet policy currently for our solo drivers. We have recently rolled out a pet policy.
Oh, I'm not sure if everybody sees this or not, but if I'm Rhonda, you're frozen on my end. So I'm just gonna Oh, sorry, you froze again. So you were just talking about how solo is no pet, and then if you want to talk about the team being able to have a
Sure. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't know what went on there, but so like I was saying, it's no pet policy for our solo drivers. Effective just a week or so ago, we did implement a pet policy for team drivers. There's a lot of reasons behind that. And again, the biggest one is safety. There's 2 drivers in the truck. One of the drivers can help be responsible for the pet that is in the vehicle so that the driver can concentrate on driving just in case anything were to happen with the pet, there's any emergencies, or even, leaving the truck to go into shippers or, the truck stops, things like that. It is safer to have the 2 people. There's a lot of other reasons behind it. But yes, for now, the policy for solo drivers is a no pet policy.
Another one that came in from Carolyn. I'm currently finishing up my Class A CDL. When should I apply to Schneider? You definitely can put that application in right away. We do have drivers that may be in their first week of truck driving school and still put in that app to get pre-qualified. Totally fine. What we do is we, go through the interview or the application review with you, make sure that you are qualified. And then usually like every week to every other week, give you a follow-up call, see how truck driving school is going, how you're progressing. And then once you obtain that Class A, we call it kind of like a match meeting, if you will, where another interview, not as formal. And we go through the positions that are available in your area. And at that time, you select the account that you want to come aboard to.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then, oh boy. Let's see. what perks and benefits does Schneider offer to its drivers?
Wow, that's a loaded question, but a great one. So we have our health benefits, we have vision, we have dental, we have 401k. My favorite to talk about is our Schneider perks, which is simply for working at Schneider, you can get discounts on appliances, depending on your phone carrier, on your phone bill. It's remarkable. It's great. I just love looking at all the options of ways I can save money simply by working with the company.
Exactly. Drivers that are out on the road that want to send flowers home. There's flower places that do, that give us discounts, and a lot of workout centers, memberships and things like that. Sam's Club, all of those kind of things out there, offer. So just, a multitude.
Yes. Let's see here. Another one from Hassan, does Schneider have a training program for new drivers? Yes, we definitely do. We have, within our divisions of intermodal and tanker and van truckload, we have orientation that is geared for an inexperienced driver of 3 months or less. And then we also have our experience. So regardless if you have zero experience or you've been driving for 15 years, we have an orientation, structured for each driver. And we love to take all experience levels. We love our experienced drivers, but we also love our inexperienced drivers. So, we are very welcoming to regardless of your experience level.
Exactly. It looks like we might have one more, and then I think there's a few more things I think we were going to try to hit today if we could. Great questions. So that's, yes. I love when that happens too. It looks like what is Schneider's DUI policy, and can a prior DUI be a disqualification? Again, that's one of those not simply a yes or no question. We do have some criteria around DUI, as does the DOT. So, it doesn't disqualify you based on certain circumstances. So it's really a case-by-case situation where you would want to speak with your driver recruiter about that.
Kind of getting away from the questions for a second, like Rhonda had said, still keep them coming. We'll definitely answer them all, but just want to make sure to focus on our video and the kind of the theme for today, as well as, within that first year within the company, some drivers always ask, well, what if I don't like the account that I'm on? And, I'm on it for a couple of months and all of a sudden I have a new baby at home and I want to be home more often, or, vice versa. I want to travel more than just a local position. Are you locked into your position? How does that kind of work? So I'm a part of the transfer team here at Schneider. I am one of the recruiters that helps drivers that are hired on find other positions. So there is no exact hard and fast rule on a time frame that you have to be on an account. We definitely want you to try the account out, give it that valiant, effort, and give it a chance before just saying 2 days in, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. But there is that reassurance too that you don't have to be on that account for the longevity of your experience with Schneider. There is other opportunities. If you're moving or something like that, we'll help you with finding a different position in the area you're looking to relocate to. So, something to keep in mind, you're not locked into any account for forever.
Right, exactly. I think that's one of the great things about Schneider is that we do have so many different opportunities for drivers. I mean, they're not stuck somewhere that they're not happy, and they can go to a different line of business or, type of driving, home time, and not lose their tenure with the company. They don't have to job hopping just to find something different, which is really nice. So that's, I think that's a great thing. And I tell people about our transfer team all the time, because I think you're a vital part of keeping our drivers happy out there, and having someone they can actually reach out to find out how the process works and who will kind of walk them through that step. So that, that great addition.
For sure. Any other topics that we kind of missed today, Rhonda, that you wanted to talk about within our outline?
I think we were kind of talking a little bit about, we kind of got back into, there were a lot of questions and stuff, but, really, I do get a lot of people who want to know what happens after orientation. Okay. So immediately after.
Yeah.
think that the thing to talk about a little bit then is that I always tell my drivers when I'm talking to them, at the end of training, after you've passed all your skills qualifying and all of those things, you're going to be put in contact with your new driver team leader, either in person or on the phone, depending on where you're at, maybe a Teams meeting, so you can live like we're kind of doing right now, to do what Schneider calls an expectations exchange. It's where you guys are going to get that chance to really talk about what the account's expectations are, and what you're looking for in your career, and that kind of thing. So usually after that training, which for most accounts it's about 18-19 days, you'll get that expectations exchange. You'll find out where you're going to pick up your truck, your keys to your new truck, how you're going to get back home, getting some home time, and when am I going to start out, and all of those things are, they're a few weeks down the road for new drivers. So, concentrate on your training while you're there, take advantage of it, learn the most you can. And then all of that stuff is a meeting that you'll have when you're done, and you can focus on that and going forward into what those first few weeks and months are going to look like.
Got another question coming in here. It looks like it's from Mike. He said, I may have missed it, but what is typically the starting pay for over-the-road solo? Great question, Mike. Thanks for sending that in. It really just depends, to be honest, on where you're located, because every location and pay has a different pay package. So biggest recommendation, give us a call. We definitely can go over that in more detail with you. And it also depends on your experience. If you have, 2 or 3 months, that pay is going to be different than a brand new driver starting out. So definitely just give us a call, and a recruiter can answer that specific question for you for the over the road in your area with your experience level.
Sure. I saw one comment, not really a question,
Okay.
from one of our new Schneider drivers, Brian Kender. Thank you very much for commenting on. He's just wanting to let everybody know that he's a new Schneider driver. He's been solo for 3 months now. He's on one of our syndicate sales accounts out of Kokomo, Indiana. He said, is there anybody out there in that area looking to get on with Schneider? The account is awesome, and he highly recommends it.
Awesome. Thank you for the plug. We appreciate
it.
Right?
So yeah, I think we pretty much covered most of what we wanted to talk about. Getting in, as you go through, again, you're going to continue to grow, you're going to continue to learn. And with that, in that first year, at the end of that first year, sit back and look at everything you've accomplished. And I think that's going to be a huge moment for you to just be like, wow,
For sure. It's a very big accomplishment to even get your Class A, in my opinion. I personally have never driven. I've been with the company for several years now, and I tell the drivers all the time, I think it's a great accomplishment to even drive a 53-foot semi, especially in some of those bigger cities. It's something I know I personally would not want to do, and I am so thankful that we have people that are more than willing to go out there and do it. And you guys are what makes the world go round, because otherwise, how would we get anything from point A to point B to fill our stores? So,
right.
COVID,
none of us would.
Right. Nothing, there wouldn't be anything anywhere. And, especially with COVID, we really got to see how those essential workers are just so important, and our truck drivers included within that realm. So we just appreciate everyone out there, getting their Class A and hopefully coming aboard here at Schneider. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave those below. We certainly can answer those once the video is done. Rhonda, any last thoughts at all today?
No, I was going to say, and if you're not someone who wants to call in right away, definitely go to our Schneider jobs under, the truck driver tab. Inexperienced drivers, you'll see a multitude of really useful knowledge to help you out in doing some, if you're that research person who likes to do that. So, definitely, but we are always here, call in, 1-800-44-PRIDE. We'll be more than happy to answer questions and get you moving in the right direction.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for tuning in today, and have a great rest of your day. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Bye. See you soon.